All right, this is page 1.30. So page 30, we are going to talk about angle relationships. So the word adjacent, we're going to talk about adjacent angles. Adjacent angles means that they are touching. So the two alligator mouths are touching each other. Adjacent angles have the same vertex, and that's, if you have an angle, this little corner is your vertex, and they share a common side. So I have one alligator mouth right here, one angle there, and one angle there. They are touching because they're sharing this side right here, and they're sharing a vertex right here. So yes, angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent. Let's look at the next one. Angle 1 right here. I got angle 2 right here. Well, they share that line, so they're touching, and they have a vertex, a common vertex. So yes, those are adjacent. The next one, I've got angle 1 right here, and I've got angle 2 over here. Well, they share a vertex, but these lines are not touching, so these are not adjacent. So adjacent means they're touching, they share a common line and a vertex. Now we're going to talk about what a linear pair is. A linear pair are two angles that make a straight line. They are adjacent, which means they touch. A straight line, we know, has 180 degrees, so a linear pair equals 180 degrees. So I have angle 1 here, and I have angle 2. Well, they're adjacent because we just learned if they're side to side, that makes them adjacent. They also make a straight line, so it makes them a linear pair, which means that angle 1 plus angle 2, if I added a part plus a part, they would equal the whole thing, which is 180 degrees, because they're on a straight line. Over here in this, so this is, yes, this is a linear pair. This one, angle 1 and angle 2, they're touching, but this is not a straight line, so this is not a linear pair. It has to be on a straight line. All right, flip over to the next page. Our next thing we're going to talk about are vertical angles. Vertical angles are non-adjacent, which just means they are not touching, so they don't share that common side. They are angles that are formed by two intersecting or crossing, where the lines cross, crossing lines that share a vertex. Let's look at this picture down here. I've got a purple line and I have a red line. They share a vertex right here. So if I look at these angles, these vertical angles, I've got this one right here. It makes a V. It's across from this guy right here. So I'm going to number these angles. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So angle 1 is across from angle 3. So they are vertical angles. So some people like to say they're back to back. Other people like to say they're across from. Either way, that helps you remember it. But the reason it's important is because vertical angles are congruent or equal. So if angle 1 is 20 degrees, angle 3 will be 20 degrees. So you can also look and see that angle 2 right here makes a V with angle 4. So these guys are also vertical angles. So that means if angle 4 is 160, angle 2 is 160. So vertical angles are across from each other or back to back. The next word is complementary angles. So a complementary angle is an angle, two angles whose measures add up to 90 degrees. How I remember the difference in complementary and supplementary. Complementary starts with a C. It comes first in the alphabet. It gets the smaller number 90. Supplementary starts with an S. It's later in the alphabet, which means it gets the larger number 180. So complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So here, angle 1 plus angle 2, we know it equals 90 degrees because they have that little box on them. Here, I can look and I can say that 50 degrees is for my first angle plus 40 degrees for my second angle equals 90 degrees. So they don't have to be touching to be complementary. They just have to add up to 90. Supplementary angles work the same way. I have angle 1 here and angle 2. They're on a straight line. Well, a straight line is 180 degrees. That tells me that angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. So yes, these are supplementary. And up here, both of these were yes. Here, I have 120 degrees. If I add it to 60 degrees, I get 180. So yes, both of these guys are also supplementary because they add up to 180. Now we're going to look at these same words on our vocab list and add some pictures. So adjacent angles are two angles that share a common side and vertex. They are next to each other. So here's a picture of adjacent angles. Vertical angles are two angles directly across from each other on intersecting lines, and they're always congruent. So if I draw that, this, and that, I'm going to give it a 1 and a 2. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Sorry, that's so messy. Flip over to the back side of the vocab. So complementary angles are two angles with measures that sum equal 90 degrees. So I could have a 90-degree angle, and I got two angles, angle 1 and angle 2. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees. Supplementary are two angles with measures that sum to 180. So straight line is 180. Whoops. Got angle 1 and angle 2. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. And then the last are adjacent angles that are supplementary that form a straight line. Straight line, adjacent angles. All right. So add these pictures and words to your vocabulary and take notes. Turn it in to me when you are done. Thank you.